Thank you very much, Gallery Ragini, Nidhi, Ragini, and Radha. It's wonderful to be here this afternoon on a fairly chilly Sunday afternoon. We were expecting Shambhavi to join us today, but unfortunately she's not well. And so maybe that will happen another time. This afternoon we have with us Arunkumar and Sumedh. I'll begin with Arunkumar. So at the center of Arunkumar's sculptural vocabulary is wood, a material he approaches not merely as a medium, but as a living archive. Wood in his hands becomes a career of memory, of forests under pressure, of craft traditions, and of human labor embedded in ecological transformation. He frequently selects pieces of reclaimed or leftover timber, allowing their textures, fractures, irregular forms to dictate form. By working with wood in states of wear, splintered beams, carved fragments, felled trunks, he foregrounds the environmental degradation and socio-economic tensions tied to deforestation, rural livelihood, and land use. So, Arun, I would like you to begin, of course, with your present work, not just the work that we are seeing in the exhibition, but also beyond that. You know, you have set up a center, the kind of work you're doing there. Tell us a bit about the people you interact with, how you've got people even to know about this center that you've created, what you hope to achieve.
Yeah, thank you for this conversation, Inaji and Gallery Ragini. See, as Radha was introducing, and you were also saying that this is primarily a material, but this is one of the primary material that I've been using. And I had been working mostly, recently what we see, loudly, the waste everywhere. So that has been really bothering, and so I had been employing to build some narrative out of that waste. Though it is not easy to work with that. Anyway, this is part of the urban, scenario that the gallery-based or studio practice-based art that I. But beyond that, I wanted to do something what I cannot really do that in the gallery framework. So also where I come from, that I still am very much connected. My family, the farming household family, and larger, the communities there. So that has been really pulling me so much.
Where is
that? Is in the Western Ghats of Karnataka. Like many times, my father used to tell me that. So whatever that you are doing outside, your practice, but what is it for us here? So this is just a connecting point, but of course there is much more beyond that. So I had been thinking about taking my art practice to that landscape as well. So that is what, and how to take it. Because here in this urban system that we have kind of infrastructure, institutions and things. But beyond that, when you go to beyond, these urban systems, that hardly anything. But of course, life is there and art is there, but it is everyday art, but not in this form. So my idea was to how to take it. It is, you cannot straight away take it. And I mean, it could be very intimidating, and the dialogue wouldn't happen. So the slowly, to cut short this, I must say that we had a degraded land. Once it was a forest. So I saw it about 15 years ago. Then I had to take that responsibility on me as well, because I was already about 40-year-old son, and that land also belonged to me. So, and during that time, I remembered once Andy Warhol was, he quoted something like, having a land and not letting it ruined could be a great art. So I was thinking, about my own responsibility and all that. So started regenerating the forest in that degraded land, and slowly found a way. I mean, though it took about 4 or 5 years to think what kind of form it should take. So it took a form of a kind of center. Center is like a platform. On that platform, anybody can come and share their experiences. That was the main idea. So the art was very handy, and I realized that art has that power to bring people together and help that dialogue take
Absolutely.
forward. Yeah.
Absolutely. Arun, you were talking about urban waste. This afternoon, as I was making my way to the gallery from Gurgaon, where I live, I pointed out to my sister-in-law that there were these stacks of wood just lying on either side of the road in little containers, and these logs of wood were meant to be burnt at home later on to give people warmth.
Yeah.
Pollution has reached levels that are beyond our expectations. It's been a very difficult time for all of us living in Delhi. Yet, how do you stop people from burning those logs of wood in this harsh winter, from keeping themselves warm? So there are these conflicts, there are these problems that we have to deal with, and you don't know then what is right and what is not. Coming to your particular work in the exhibition, tell us a bit about the work, and did you make it there in the center or?
No, it was made here in
Delhi,
the studio.
in your
Gurgaon.
studio here.
So I had been using wood for the last, let's say, 10 years. I mean, earlier, as my students' days, I used to find logs of wood and then I used to carve it. And then after a while, I stopped doing that. And then again, I started roaming around in the periphery of industrial area of Gurgaon, where you have scrap yards, all sort of scraps that you find. So there you see wood in a large quantity. That is mostly as a packaging wood for various machines transported from countries across the world to Gurgaon for setting up industry. So they have, I have images saying that it's like a mini forest being cut off,
demolished,
and stacked neatly. And so when I get to see, then I said, no, now the wood, that I must use it as a metaphor here, as a material itself, to mainly to speak about wood itself, and the forest itself. So what else can be a better material to talk about its own story? That's how I started, putting together the various pieces. It's also kind of metaphorically bringing them all together and making them speak.
It is like the memory of the forest, as it were.
Yeah, it is like that. And then this work is also on the same line.
But you say that your use of wood is neither nostalgic nor purely craft-driven. It functions as a critical medium through which you chart the contemporary crises of sustainability and human environment independence. interdependence. So, tell me, coming to your use of wood, it is not recycled, it is wood that you use,
Yes.
but in a way that will last because it is here a work of art. It is going to be collected, it is going to a home of a collector. So, does this in any way then serve your purpose with which you began?
See, I use this material wood as a wood to talk about itself. So that is the primary purpose of it. So and instead of using any other material, that means I think what it speaks, I don't think any other material could speak that loudly and sing. So that is the primary purpose of it. And
Arun, I just wanted to bring you back to the forms you create because earlier on I remember the bulls that you made. This time it's an elephant. So obviously the image or the form of the animal, not its mythical form, but the animal itself is what inspires you or attracts you.
Yeah. See, I mean, in this case, this goes back to a very strong image, elephant image that you see all temples, but mainly importantly, where it comes from is that Mahabalipuram, that
the facade of the elephant.
So that's very strong, and also that's the biggest form in the entire that stage.
Yes.
And I thought, because it is there always in people's memory through fables, jatakas or panchatantras, and in so many ways these animals are there, and then animals used to be center then. Now the human has become center.
Yes. Also, I don't know whether you're aware, but in very recent times, as of last week, Gajar Lok project has been started by Intac. And this whole man-elephant conflict has again been brought into public attention. And so it's a subject that is again coming into importance all over again. Yeah. Sumedh, coming to you, your engagement with wood is never simply about craft. It is deeply conceptual. The grain of the wood, its scars, capacity for structural support allows you to construct bodies that appear simultaneously strong yet fragile. Many of your works use wooden beams or panels as armatures, frameworks that hold shifting or precarious arrangements of objects. These forms often mimic the architectures of migration routes, contested borders, or improvised dwellings, prompting reflections on resilience and instability. At times, wood in your sculpture also evokes the idea of lived time, bearing the marks of previous use, histories of labor, or then the silent memory of environment altered by human movement. I mean, I think I first saw your work sometime in the late 90s. I think it was a show at Anant, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. Or was it early 2000s?
Yeah, early 2000s.
Early 2000s. And since then, of course, your work has evolved and, you're constantly exploring, working with different forms. But tell us a bit about this journey and about the beginning. Were you from Delhi or did you move here? So where did you study? What is your background?
Yeah, good evening. Yes, it's almost 30 years now. I think I relocated from Kerala, from Trivandrum to Delhi. So the distance, the geographical distance from one place to another. So the distance is time and subject also.
Yes.
And I think I worked with many materials, and my work evolved through different kind of materials. Its basic thing is the concept behind, or the process or imagination or thought process. So the imagination and thought process will reach into a kind of a material. Which material? I don't know whether the material, how it evolves and comes. But that way, I think whether it is wood, stone, or any material, I think the texture of life inside that material. When and it is a tree, living a tree, it carries a different its own texture and life inside, and that life it transforms into an object. Then it become a living object. So it's one thing to one thing to another. It transforms into another thing, but still it's not that it's living. It takes a different life.
Yes.
It lives around us with a table or as a chair or a table or in the form of other things. This is the way that even human life once it transforms into another. The whole art is like that. It's a life of an artist. His own how he breathes. It captures the work of art itself. It captures an artist's breathe, how he's breathing. So that life. So I think that the time kind of which it transformed into. I use many objects as tables, chairs in my work, which is kind of those are living objects which can also breathe, and it has a memory of its own. So what happens, the memory of a tree, and when it transforms and it becomes some other objects, what kind of memory it carries, there is a conflict between
The
two
animate
memories.
and the inanimate.
Yeah.
The other thing also, Sumedh, which I find very intriguing and interesting is the fact how you use humor.
Yeah.
Humor is very much a part of your narrative.
Yes, I think it's coming very spontaneously.
Yes.
Because I like humor,
Yeah.
and there is a kind of I think a sarcastic way that like a lot of artists in India, especially in South Asian people use like a kind of a humor.
Yes.
But it's a reality. But I can talk about Ritu Katak Ajandrik.
Yes. Yes.
There is a car, and that the car, I have seen the film. I think some 25 more than that, and I've seen that the car is going and it stops in the radiator. He pours some water and it rings. The sound of
Gulping water.
gulping.
Yes.
And it provokes. It's a very sarcastic, but it brings a very truth of life, his life and his attachment with vehicles.
Yes.
So almost all artists in the history used like even O.V. Vijayan's writings. There is a lot of sarcastic element when he is talking very serious things.
Yes. Almost like a critique.
Yes.
Also, have you mentioned Ajantrik, because the book on Ritik Ghatak is going to be launched in the next couple of days, which my brother has edited. It's called Unmechanical.
Okay.
And 100 years of Ritik Ghatak in November, on the 4th of November, I think. And some people, and certainly their cinema or their art or their literature, will remain because of moments like this. Not because of their philosophies or their memories or what they had to say, but moments that touch us and leave us with memories of our own. I think that is what makes art valuable. Yeah. The fact that you remember this particular moment where there's humor, but there is also sarcasm.
Of course. Yeah.
So that way, would you say that your works, especially the works even in this exhibition that you have made, they are kind of pliable? They are not hard forms. The material might be wood, but there is a softness to them. There is a kind of movement to them.
because it can it can get destroyed. It is very delicate, like it's like time or it like life. So there is a life. It can maybe get anything can get get destroyed, or something can happen. But always there are layers of memory and history is there, and it is conflicting each time. So it is like life. I just want to bring life. I think in everyday life there is a lot of philosophy. There is a kind of we all are. There is no way that one can't live without. Life should evolve philosophically. It's whether you knowingly doing it or unknowingly. Life has only one way. That's only it's each and everyone's life is evolved in a very philosophical way. But we may not realize it, in our day-to-day life. But it is functioning in that way. So when I
Also, there are parallel journeys, no?
of course, yeah.
Also, from the point of view of a viewer, how has your work evolved in the eyes of the viewer? You've been working for the last 3 decades now. You said 30 years.
Yes.
So from then to now, how do viewers look at your work? Which are the collections? I mean, do you find that individuals respond? I do know personally that some artists collect your work. I'm aware of that, but also institutions, also personal collections. How does it work?
No, I have done many projects. Like I have in '95, I have done a large sculptural project in Trivandrum for the Kerala government, and it was a huge. It took almost 1 year to complete in a concrete. And I have done public sculptures.
Recently, also you were traveling.
Yes, I have done public sculptures.
Yes,
and that's the interaction is very different.
But it's important. It's very important to have the public sculptures, I think.
Yes, of course, because it's not like a kind of people coming to the gallery. The kind of people seeing your work outside a public space is entirely different from people coming
closed doors,
like to the gallery. They are seeing it first time. It's their first experience to a kind of an art or a kind of thing, but they know that there is something, and they are very curious to know about it and want to interact with that. Yeah, but it's a very, because it evolves in a different way. But I don't know, but because I am responding to my time and my realities. That's what I am doing. Like it's keep on. Maybe it's changing, evolving, but I don't I don't look into that. I keep, because it's like that, like you are, once you are born, you are growing.
Yes.
Whether you accept it or not, it's happening.
There's a flow to your life.
Yeah, this is the same way that life is growing and you evolve, and that's it.
And
but how you respond to that
personally?
Your surroundings, your time, your history. So there are a lot of things happening. So there is a kind of a process. So you are in a practice. You are, like there is a, you take a lot of things. You absorb a lot of things.
Influences,
like,
your
course,
travel. Arun, how would you feel about the market? Do you think the market changes not just your work, but generally the work of sculptors, artists? Is there anything dictated to artists through demands of the market? What do you feel about that? As we speak, there's a wedding procession outside, so there's going to be a lot of baja now intruding in this conversation.
Yeah. So I cannot really talk much about market because I'm not really in the market as such. Right from the beginning, I had been working, I had been doing a job to sustain my art, and that went on for a long time. So that I could do what I wanted to do, and not really depending upon doing something and depending upon market and things. But whatever that is in market, maybe that is such by chance. Um,
Yeah, and also I think that is interesting today that we have institutions who are collecting, who are supporting art. So that is a great thing. Sumedh, would you agree?
Uh, I I don't know about, because the thing is that there is a system working actually. There are people collecting works, institutions collecting work, and there are support. It's not like something 25 years back or 50 years back.
When artists actually had to have other jobs. Even artists like Jogin Chaudhary, for instance, I remember in Bengal I've seen this. But whether you're working as a school teacher or as
Of course, of course,
you
of course.
needed a job to sustain your passion, your work.
Yeah, but I think the time has changed. I think it's how you handle your life and practice. It depends. But I think for youngsters, there are a lot of artists working independently. So I think there is a kind of a support system.
It's a support system, and also I think what is wonderful is we have we have the Kochi Biennale, for instance, which has been terrific. This time also the Venice Biennale, again Indian participation is going to happen, and I think that will be a huge support to the whole community, hopefully.
Of course, of course.
Hopefully. How are we doing for time? Questions? Questions?
Yes. So throughout the show, Meena talks about displacement a lot. Artists coming into Delhi or into Mumbai, leaving their homelands and how it has impacted their work throughout. So both of you come from your hometowns. The displacement is, of course, there. And Arun, you found a way back home as well. So that is really fortunate. But how does that impact your work? And also, Sumedh, how that has impacted your practice as well?
Yeah. See, I had to go back, and because that's where I have come from, and that there are many reasons to go back, and so the main reason is to the place that I have come from is ecologically very sensitive and one of the 8 biodiversity hotspots, and that is a difference between this metropolis and the back home there. So the two contrasts. So that contrast, I mean, you get inspired in many ways, and then also the another responsibility is that there are so many people fighting for the to save or to keep the Western Ghats safer. So there are so many intellectuals, environmentalists, and activists. They're all there, and I mean, I don't know. It is like, I mean, I don't really get much now here being in the city. What I get there. So that is one of the main reason that I keep going back, set up center there. Because see, let's say if we are talking about environment and ecology, I think it is best to be on the site and get that first-hand information to talk about it rather than sit in your studio in a metropolis and talk about ecology. So that is the first thing. So
About the impact of displacement.
Yeah, I tell you because I came to Delhi in 1996. I think I came for my studies because when I have completed my graduation, then I did a public sculpture project there. Then I wanted to come out because there is no post-graduation in Kerala those days. So either you have to go to Baroda, Delhi, or Shantiniketan. The other three options. So some people go to. So this is the way. So I came to Delhi because I used to come before that because of my father. I used to come to Delhi. So I did got attracted me that it's a history of this place, like the time, like you can travel to 1,000 years, from here to you travel to old Delhi. It's a different time period. So it's a very really interesting thing that like to be in Delhi. So I came to Delhi for my studies. Then I it's a pre internet era, like the time, like it's a different time period. So the presence, your presence, you have to now things will come to you. So those days you have to go there, like, and also it's one of the city that this much layers of history you can see at one one stretch you will see a lot of things, like, so that attracted me. And it was a place where those days all the film festivals used to happen, the libraries and these things, and a lot of shows, I think. And also, when I have completed and I started working there, I felt that I want to I need a different kind of language. I want to explore a new language to talk, to communicate, or to express my. Uh, then that's the reason that I was. So it was almost 10 years. I was traveling in India, not only in, and like traveling, and actually that those travels across India made me realize a lot of things, about the culture of this and the things people make, each and different places, how people, even day-to-day life, they create certain things. So these are the experience of, lived experience of people. From that, I started, bringing imageries and material to my work. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Arun, would you like to add to that? I was just wondering, both of you, we were talking here about wood. Now, do you not face criticism for that? Because, on the one hand, we are all talking about saving the environment, not cutting trees. And yet here we are discussing wood and using wood as a material. Does that come
Yeah,
into your
yeah, that's very much there in the sense that what I use is that has been cut already. That is anyway that's going to go for firing or some other purpose. It's the last bit, and so that nobody would buy that unless it is only used for firing. So in that case, I'm very conscious about not using fresh materials. I mean, if I had to use any fresh materials, that would be the last resort. So I'm very conscious about that, and that is why you see in this work itself, you will see every small bit and pieces that I have been put it back. So to build that narrative, to bring it back to tell its own story.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sumedh, would you agree?
I don't know. We can't talk in that way. I think I don't think so because we have read a lot of novels. So how you print books or
Without cutting trees,
yeah, how you study it, like then I have to deny my entire existence, because we depend on nature or on another. It is a kind of natural thing that happening, but the ecological devastation happening, it's a different thing, like it's a very deeper, and it's not in our hand also, because it started happening from it's long back, and so we can't discuss in a very peripheral way that how the ecology is very deep thing, and it's happening. What is happening with the sea? What is happening with the mountains? Like everywhere. So the unnecessary and the greedy exploitations got into things. So that need to be worked out, addressed.
Thank you. On that note, there is hope and there is looking forward, and also the excitement of working with such brilliant artists as Arun and Sumedh.
Thank you so much, Inaji.
I'd like to thank our panelists, and I'd also like to add a little thing to what Sumedh was saying. We are using wood, which is still a very natural material here, and we can still plant more trees. But I'm absolutely averse to the use of plastic in art. That just really defies me. So here we are using natural mediums, and we're not as such using so much machinery in the creation of these works. So it's still more organic that way. But apart from that, there's a certain sense of connection to wood. It brings a lot of warmth, and it instantly adds another dimension. So we are looking at 3 different ways of using wood if Shambhavi were here today. The way Sumedh uses it, the way Arun uses it, and the way Shambhavi explores it in her paper pulp. So in her wood pulp, actually, and how the material from being tangible, recycled, and then created into a pulp to talk about their ideas, their own vision. So it's a very, very tangible material. It's different, and I really feel that the works for the show have come out very, very differently here, and we are very, very, we're very, very grateful for these works in this conversation. Thank you.
Thank you.